I'm Catherine Thompson, Technology Analyst at Edison, and I'm here today with Adi Drotleff, CEO, and Markus Pech, CFO of Mensch and Maschine. Adi, could I ask you to kick off with an introduction to the company?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Mensch Maschine is a 36-year-old company in the technical digitalization area. We do CAD, CAM, CAE, BIM, and PDM mainly. And we have about a bit more than 1,000 people all around the world. But the main business is in Europe, and altogether 2/3 of the business is in the German-speaking area where we have our origin. We have a software segment and a VAR segment. The VAR segment goes back to our roots. The company from the beginning was a partner for Autodesk, the worldwide volume leader in CAD CAM. We are today Europe's largest partner for Autodesk. And over the last 10-12 years, we developed that business from initially a distribution business to a VAR business. And today in this segment, the contribution is about half and half reselling Autodesk software, or let's better say using Autodesk software for our digitalization projects for our customers. And a bit more than half is the proprietary part we are adding, and that's split down into about 60% customization for the customers, and 40% more or less is training for the customers. And the software segment, here we have some specialized software in our area. 70% contribution comes from CAD CAM. We are with our CAM department, we are a worldwide technology leader in that segment. And the other 30% mainly are in the BIM and in the gardening landscaping area, and we do some CAE, computer-aided engineering as well here.
Markus, you recently published your Q3 results. Could you talk us through the highlights?
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. Our 9-month figures characterizes due to this, or even though we have these special times, we have in the 9 months a record sales of 180 million, which is plus 3.6 to last year. If we divide this up into the 3 quarters, we had a very, very strong Q1 with plus 24.5%. A Q2, which would be a Corona Q2 of minus 9.3%. And then we started to recover in Q3, the top line, to minus 7.1%, which results as well in a 9-month gross profit record of 93 million roundabout, which is plus 0.5% of the prior year. Whereas the software is minus 1.8%, so a little bit softer, and the VAR business have still 3.5% of plus, which due to a very, very good cost structure and discipline in the costs, we could manage to a 9 months EBITDA of round about 30 million, which is 18% plus to prior year. So we have a decline in the top line, but we have a big plus in the EBITDA, which shows that we are able to keep our costs in a very, very good control, even in these times. And this gives a very strong Q1, followed by Q2 and Q3, which retarding effects of Corona, but we could manage that the top line decline does not give us a EBIT decline. But the real surprise is the cash flow. We had a huge operating cash flow of plus 53% to 32.7 million, which we focused on.
And Adi, could you talk us through how COVID-19 has impacted the business and how you've responded to it?
COVID-19 for most of our markets came along, let's say, beginning of mid-March. And of course, we had, as Markus mentioned, the strongest impact during the lockdowns in most of our markets, and concentrated tactically on the cost flexibility. And so we kept our bottom line on a record course. And I mean, generally, being a provider of digitalization solutions, we do not belong to the losers of the situation, of course. But so we have some impact mainly in the new business and mainly in the industry customers. While the BIM customers, the AEC customers, here the business is still quite strong. And also in the software area, you have a high degree of recurring revenue from maintenance and subscription contracts. And this is really unbroken. That's the reason why our figures look so robust.
Could you outline the competitive environment in each of the two businesses?
That's quite segmented. In the industry segment or in the industry part of the customers, the main competitor is Dassault, I would say, and in the BIM business, our main local competitor is Nemetschek, also a German company. But generally, we can say that the markets are very fragmented, and it's quite easy for us to search and find places where we can do our business without too much of disturbation from competitors. And that's why we can say that for our business model today is very scalable, and we don't see a limit in any of our markets. And if in a market we see a problem, we just simply go out, which will be the case during and after COVID. I mean, it's clear that some industries have higher impact from COVID, and our reaction is simply turning to the and focusing our capacity to the parts which develop well. So we don't, all in all, we don't care too much about our competition.
Okay, and finally, could you give us your view on the company's outlook in both the short and medium term?
In the short term, it's such that Q4 and Q1 in the previous year were record quarters. So these quarters are not easy to beat. So we think that we may beat Q1 and Q4 and Q1 just on the bottom line, but not on the top line. In the midterm, beginning Q2 next year, we just go back to our normal development, and then we have, of course, quarters which are easier to beat because they are under Corona influence. And generally, we define growth as the growth of result and not the top line, and very actively work on our cost flexibility and follow the principle of not building up too much capacity. So we keep our position on the side of having some under capacity, and this way we are in the position to make the prices and not in a situation like you have overcapacity and the customer then makes the prices. We are quite confident that in the future, from next year onwards, we can keep the pace of increasing our EPS from the 99 cents we had last year and the around €1.13 we will probably have this year, in steps of 18 to 24 cents. So we should reach an EPS of €2 within 4 or 5 years. And on the top line, when looking back, we could always in the mid to long term achieve organically 10% on average. And that's what we also see for the future, with some variations from year to year.
Great. So thank you both for the introduction to the company. That was really interesting.